All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice your skills and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. Today, we're going to be working in the January cardio section. Now, at the top here is an animated video to give you a little synopsis of what you're going to be doing for Craig that month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge as it does relate to the video up above. Below that are all of the exercises within this section. And then at the bottom is an optional section where after you have completed all of the exercises here, we have some sample posts that you can use on LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's go ahead and dive right into today's exercise where we're going to practice dealing with accounts payable errors. Go ahead and click on that link to get the exercise up here or pulled up for you. I have it here on the right hand side, so let's see what we're going to do today. Our scenario is that as you clean up Craig's account, you run an accounts payable aging summary and you see some negative numbers. So, how did this happen and how should you fix it? You will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you did the previous exercises in. If you have not completed those yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to that first exercise, complete that one and the one after, and then come back to this one. So in our scenario, you have run the accounts payable aging summary report. You notice negative numbers in some of the accounts. So how did this happen and what should you do about it? So let's take a look. Now, before we get started, let's clean up the checking account bank transactions a bit. For the remainder of this section, we are going to be dealing with a couple of the transactions, so it will be easier if the rest of them were out of the way. We're going to start by clearing up the two matches found for Pam Sites and for Squeaky Clean Car Wash. So over here I am in the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of. Let's go ahead and click on bank transactions so we get into that area. And then let's go ahead and click on the two matches found for Pam Sites. Go ahead and click on that line just so it expands. We see that the one that is selected is the correct one for Pam Sites. Here's that bank detail, and then here is her name, so we are all good. Go ahead and click on match. And now let's scroll down to the ones for Squeaky Clean Car Wash. That is a little bit further down. Here we go. Go ahead and click anywhere on that line to expand it. Now, for the sake of this exercise, we are just going to match the one that is the chosen transaction. In a real life scenario, you would obviously want to make sure whichever one is the correct one that you would select and match that one. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to leave that one as is and go ahead and click on match. And now we've gotten a couple of those out of the way. Everything left, I believe now is just showing as one match, and that's correct. All right, so now we'll select all of the transactions and then we'll just deselect the ones that we want to keep. So we're going to click the top checkbox to select all, which is right here. And now we need to uncheck Hall Properties, Tim Phillip Masonry, and Cool Cars. So let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see, here is Hall Properties right here, this bill payment, 11 for 900. Go ahead and click that checkbox to unselect it. We need to do for Tim Phillip Masonry, which is this bill payment 45 right there. Go ahead and click on that. And then we have the one for Cool Cars, which is this one right above Hall Properties for payment 800 or 1,886 for $694. Go ahead and click on that one. So we have unselected those 3 transactions, and we have, I believe, a total of 12 left. So now we're going to go ahead and click on accept so that we can go ahead and accept all of the ones that are selected. Go ahead and do that. And the only 3 that will be remaining were the ones that we unselected. Now, often clients don't know what it means to match. So instead of accepting a match when they see a transaction in the bank feed, they feel like they need to categorize it themselves. Since this is money that was spent, we might categorize it to accounts payable and then click add. The transaction disappears from the list, so they think that they have done the right thing, but let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and click on Hall Properties. Go ahead and click on that one right there to expand it. Then we're going to click on the Categorize button field. Go ahead and do that, and you will see this appear. Now, in the Account field, we're going to click Accounts Payable. That is this one here. Click the down arrow, and you can either scroll or you can actually type in here, which is exactly what I am going to do to make that list a little bit smaller. So we want Accounts Payable or AP. Go ahead and click on that, and then we're going to click on Add. And that one has gone away. So now we have the other two left. Let's go ahead and do the same thing that we just did with Tim Philip Masonry. So go ahead and click anywhere on that line. And then we're going to click on that button next to Categorize. And then in the account field, we are going to again select accounts payable. So go ahead and click into it this time and start typing in account to get accounts payable. It'll make it so much easier than trying to scroll that long list. Go ahead and click on that. And then when you do, you're going to click on add. All right, so we have those two that we had spent the money on. Those two have now been categorized and we've created that problem. So now let's take a look at the report and see how this looks. Go ahead and click on reports. That's on the left navigation bar. Go ahead and click on that. And we're going to scroll down to what you owe. So go ahead and scroll down to that area right there. And then we are going to, I'm sorry, I scrolled down to who owes you. I want to do what you owe. There we go. So the first thing that we're going to do is mark the accounts payable aging summary as a favorite, since we're going to be coming back to that one a lot in this exercise and the next couple exercises as well. So to do that, you scroll down to the what you owe section, and then you find the accounts payable aging summary report right there. We just want to click on this star so that when we do that, it is now added as a favorite. So if I scroll back up to the top, it is now right here, which is great. Make it so much easier than having to scroll through or do a search here in the bar. So now let's take a look at that report. Go ahead and click on Accounts Payable Aging Summary. And now, as you can see, this results in the negative numbers that we saw earlier. But what do we do about it? So here are those negative numbers that Hall Properties and that Tim Philip Masonry. Both are showing as negative. So now let's take a look at the vendor accounts. From the left navigation bar, let's hover over expenses and then select vendors. So hover over expenses and then select vendors. And now we're going to look for Hall Properties. So let's scroll down until we find them, and then you can click on their name right there. Now, as a reminder, when you create a bill, you create the bill first and then you create the bill payment. The correct workflow is to match the bill payment from the bank fee to the bill payment in QBO. However, what Craig has done is instead of matching the one that was already added, he added a new expense. So this results in what looks like double the expense. The original one from the bill and now also the one that we just created. So you could see here is that one that we, it just looks like there's like an extra one here. This is the one that we just added, this accounts payable that we had made. So it looks like an extra expense here. So the simple fix really is just to delete the expense that we just created. So we're going to click on the down arrow right here, and then we're going to click on delete. When you get this little pop-up, you want to go ahead and click on yes. And now that one has deleted and it's showing that there's nothing overdue now. Let's go ahead and do the same thing now for Tim Philip Masonry. Let's click on the vendors tab so we go back to that list. And let's scroll down until we find Tim Philip Masonry. So scroll down until you find him. There he is. Go ahead and click on his name to pull up his vendor account. Now, here, due to the difference in the dates, the transactions are not neatly in a row, but the result is the same. You can see what we're mentioning here is there's something else here in between, but you can see here, this is the extra expense. Oh, I'm sorry, right here. Here's that extra expense. Where we had categorized that accounts payable. So these two are the ones that are the correct ones that are matching the bill with the bill payment, and this is that expense that we just created. So once again, we are going to go ahead and delete it. Click the down arrow right there next to expense or on that line, and then we're going to click delete. Once again, it's going to ask if you want to delete it, and the answer is yes. So click on yes. So now that you have deleted these transactions, they will appear again in the bank feed. So we're going to click on bank transactions to see that. That is over here on the left navigation bar. Click on that. And let's see, here you go. Now you can see each one, or these two that we had worked on, they are both showing now that there is one match found. Now the correct next step would be to match them correctly, but for now we're going to leave them as is so that we can demonstrate a different error in the next exercise. And that's it. That is part one of some bank feed errors as it relates to accounts payable. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open as you will need it for the next exercise in the cardio section where we finish up dealing with accounts payable errors. And I will see you in the next video.